G'day, it's Pete here, and I'm here with Max Henbest.
Hello.
We're here for a Q&A, but it's a bit of a slow news week, so we don't actually have any questions sent in. If anyone actually has any questions and logs in live, they feel free to shoot through any questions that you're happy to ask either of us. But I figured I'd just start first asking Max a few questions. So, first of all, how'd you get into bridge?
I just sort of started playing one day when I was like 15, 16. Met some kind of cool people. They seemed to like playing cards. I liked playing cards. We just sort of listened to some music, and so I just yeah, you were that guy. We were just listening to some tunes, playing cards at the same time, and just sort of talking some quality crap along the way. And then sort of like after I'd been playing for a while, I sort of discovered, this isn't that bad of a game. Maybe I should actually give it a shot. And I started thinking more about the game, and now it turned more into, we were still talking the same quality crap, but it was in between the thinking about the game, you were talking about what you wanted to, but you were still trying, like, concentrating quite hard on the game and learning it. And so I was kind of a natural card player, I guess. Like, my family always plays cards. My family had always played cards. So and some of them had played bridge before as well, which made getting into bridge kind of easy. So
Natural.
You're
a natural prodigy.
Yeah.
Cool. So you were just up in Sydney doing a practice for the Australian youth team. You're going away. When are you going away?
I leave at the end of July. The tournament starts, and I think I have to be in Italy in Salsa Maggiore out on about the 3rd or the 4th of August, and or maybe even the 2nd. Play starts on about the 4th or the 5th.
So can you describe what these World Youth Championships are like?
They're actually they're a lot more intense than you'd think they'd be. So you're playing at quite a high level, and if you make a mistake, you do get punished. Like it's not like playing down at the local club or anything. So where if you misdeclare a contract, the opponents normally give it back to you if you're a bit lucky. So if you make a mistake, the opponents are all there to capitalize, and everyone's sharp and always on their game. So you've got to be careful. But they're good fun. So I wouldn't say going away on a holiday or anything, but you go away, you meet nice people of a similar age with similar interests, mainly because bridge is kind of a logic-heavy game. So if you like doing logic puzzles and doing that sort of stuff, you meet those kind of interesting people as well, or people who like the same things. So you get to meet really nice people, and it's good, but it's hard and it's quite tedious. So definitely, if you have to play all 3 sessions a day, you can get quite tired towards the end. It's sort of like playing a session of bridge is sort of like doing a 2-hour exam at that level. So you're really just, for that 2 hours that you're playing 16 or 20 boards or whatever it might be, you're just concentrating as hard as you can, trying not to miss anything. So you miss a pip, it could mean the difference between making a contract or not. So yeah.
And what's your day-to-day experience? Like, what actually happens from day to day while you're over there?
So normally day to day, standard sort of get up in the morning, have some breakfast or something, and you normally try to make your way into the venue. So I normally try to get up a bit earlier, sort of like play starts about 10 o'clock normally. I try to be up out of bed by say 8:39, and had breakfast and at the playing area by about 9:30. And normally it's like a short walk, or you might try and not do some heavy physical exercise, but try and do like something a bit physical beforehand, sort of, because if you are going to be sitting down for most of the day. And I definitely know that if you don't move around, your muscles can get a bit stiff just from lack of use and stuff like that. So I try to do a little bit of something. At the same time, though, you get there and then you play the first session, and you just, when you're not playing, you're trying to relax, I guess. So lunch break, normally I try not to talk about bridge on the lunch break, but sometimes it just happens. So you do that. But lunch, you get something to eat. I don't like to eat a lot at lunch. I tend to play pretty bad when I've got a full stomach. I'll go with the blood's drained away from my head or something like that. But
I don't eat much either when I go. I find that's the same. I try and eat smaller meals during the lunchtime.
Yeah.
I did.
Try to get some fruit. Make sure you always get a piece of fruit or something halfway or at the start of a session, just as opposed to just snacking on lollies and stuff like that. So all these little things do make a difference, I guess. So try and be healthy, and obviously it'll lead up as well. But it's not always. And then at night time, if you can, normally get away for a drink or two and just try to relax and not think about too much, so you're ready for the next day.
For me, one of my favourite things was going away and sort of socialising and meeting new people and getting to not necessarily talk bridge, but meet up with all the other bridge players and talk with them at at night time and socialise and unwind. How much is that unwinding good for you, or do you find it distracts you, or things like that?
You need to unwind at the end of the day. So if you don't do any unwinding at the end of the day and you go to bed and you haven't unwound or anything, all the bridge hands are still going through your head. You're remembering all the stupid things that you did throughout the day, and you need to get that out or you can't sleep properly. That's definitely a thing. So definitely, and like meeting new people, it's one of the best experiences around, and you sort of everyone's there for a good time. So that's the main thing. So.
Yeah. And do you like victory dinners or things like that? Do you try and do any holidaying beforehand, or do you wait until after the victory dinner?
I personally don't mind when you do. Like, if you're flying to Europe, the part that's bad is sitting on the plane. So once you're there, you may as well do something. And I'm lucky enough that I can take some time off, do whatever I want while I'm there. So it's normally not a bad idea to have a holiday beforehand. That way you can adjust to the time zone. So it's no good trying to play and concentrate if you're completely working on a different time set. So
yeah,
got to do that. But afterwards, definitely take some time, do what you want to. And after the event, like you've just been hanging out for 2 weeks or something with all these people that you probably really like, and you can definitely travel around with a few of them, and definitely meet new people. So
cool,
create some friendships.
And because when you start flying over, then you're basically doing holidaying. There's not much practice from when you hit the flight, or do you try and get all your practice done with your partner beforehand, or things like that?
Try to get the practice done beforehand, but last year I did the same thing. I flew to Europe for the tournament. I spent sort of a week holiday in Croatia beforehand, just by myself, which was quite deliberate actually. Just taking some time just to relax, get used to the time zone, do what you want to. And you're not practicing with your partner, but I don't know, one thing I found useful was I was reading bridge books in my spare time. Like, I'd get up in the morning and I'd be holidaying. I'd just go to the cafe, have some lunch or breakfast or whatever you want, and you'd do a few bridge problems just from the book, and then you can do whatever you want for the rest of the day. It's not really.
Did you say you get up and go to a cafe and have lunch or breakfast, like as if you might be waking up at like midday, 1 p.m.
You are.
It's about time for lunch.
It's about time for lunch. Or you're jet lagged. What are you going to do? You don't. You're still adjusting to the time zone, but lunch or breakfast was definitely a thing. So sometimes you make it out of bed at like midday, and you're trying to adjust. So it's you can't just do it overnight. You can't just all of a sudden change to different time zone.
No, I remember when I went over to America for the World Juniors that you were with.
Yeah.
When we were I was waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I was like, what on earth am I going to do now?
Yeah, there's nothing to do at 4:30 in the morning. I started going for runs at 4:30 in the morning, which was
bad mistake.
Well, yeah, it was a bad mistake, and then I was running around, and like there were all these, nothing wrong with them. There were all these American people, and they all seemed cheerful in the morning. And I was just I was jet lagged and everything, and people were saying hello to me at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, what's going on here? Leave me alone. But yeah, definitely stressful.
Back on the note of practice, you were just up in Sydney practicing with your partner up there, playing against the Australian Open players. Did pretty well.
Yeah, we did. We beat them in the first day. So that
you took them. Common quote: you took them to Pound Town.
Pound Town, yeah, absolutely. So we won by 5 or 6 imps, which it's enough. 5 or 6 imps, win's a win. Not going to complain. So yeah, then they wanted a rematch the next day. It didn't quite go all our way, but we'll take it. So. Yeah, definitely, it's good, and they're definitely tough competition. So, like I said, playing against in the World Juniors, it's the top junior players in the world are pretty close to World Open players, let alone Australian Open players. So, definitely, high level practice is something that you need. Yeah. So you need to be in the zone, ready for it.
Cool. On another note, you're also the captain of the Victorian Open team.
Oh yeah, someone was foolish enough to suggest my name. That was him. Suggested me. So now that's stuck with me. But yeah, that's something I haven't done before. Never captained a team. Should be interesting. We'll see how I go. Hope I do a good job. But
So you've done some of the preliminary work and things. How's it going so far?
So really, all I can do is just sort of encourage people to play and practice. So sitting people down, and in theory everyone on the team's pretty good at bridge and knows what they're doing. So me going I'm not going to try and train anyone or anything, so to speak, but I just want them all to practice. So I've played a couple of BBO matches against some people on the team. Just sat down, played 60 boards. No, not 60, 16 boards. 60 boards is quite a lot. That's all day. Just to try and keep people sharp and practice. And I've tried to organise a couple of training sessions. So not so much training session, more practice sessions is probably a better way to describe them. So I'm just going to get everyone down and get everyone to play some boards, and maybe, you don't get to choose your teammates for the Victorian Open team. You sort of just turn up, and the people, the top 3 pairs qualify. So you've just sometimes, like, I don't know how much everyone else in the team likes anyone else, but
they seem like a cheerful bunch.
Yeah, it seems like a good group of people, and most people are here to have fun and enjoy themselves. So if I can get them enjoying themselves and having fun together, hopefully they can gel nicely and encourage each other. So yeah, and hopefully not say anything negative. So,
have you looked at any of the other opposing teams, and
no.
What do you think our thoughts are?
I haven't looked at the opposing teams. I've been a bit slack.
I'll try and bring some up.
But I definitely know that one of the guys in the team, he's been after me trying to get me to do system summaries for some people, and I just haven't quite got around to it yet. But,
who's that?
Chen, one of the guys in the team. So he's keen to do well, like, and that's definitely something.
That's what you want
in the plus column. So if you get people who actually want to go away and try and are willing to practice, you stand a much better chance of just smashing some people together and just them just turning up because they sort of have to. So in the open team, it looks like SA and ACT always have a pretty good showing. So they've always got strong teams there. So,
New South Wales usually do as well.
Yeah, New South Wales, they look like there's definitely some good teams there. So it looks like SA's got a pretty good team. So definitely some seasoned people on the team. That's fine. And the ACT, the ACT's got a strong team.
All right, so I'll just pop over and just... All right, so... All right, my assessment of these teams is a bit different from yours. You're maybe sugarcoating some of this, or maybe this is your first look. There are always competent players, but SA usually puts forward a good team. Russell Harms and Jeff Travis, David Lusk, Attilio DeLuca, Nick Croft, and Joe Haffett. Now, Russell and Jeff are awesome blokes, decent senior players, but they're not... I wouldn't call them the best open players, but they can definitely beat us.
They can.
And Attilio and David Lusk, again, these are really four sound. They'd be some of the best seniors players going around, but they're not the best open players. And Nick Croft,
I don't know who
quit
Nick Croft
Bridge
is.
when I started, and I've seen him once since then.
Oh, okay.
But he was like a gun player, so really talented. But yeah, I haven't seen him play, so yeah. ACT usually puts forward a pretty good team.
Ian Robinson and George Kazakis will be fine, and
Marianne Bukalil and Stephen Fisher, they go around, they play lots of choruses, but
they're not open level players.
They do well in national comps, but
yeah,
they won't scare me. And the Crichtons, I don't know.
No, neither do I.
Queensland's an interesting team. They've put forward...
I know one player on that team.
Really?
Yeah.
I know 4 of the players. I know Ralph Parker and Neville Francis.
Yeah, I know Neville. That's it.
Yeah, and Malcolm Gardner and Tony Hutton. They're another pair.
Okay.
As for system discussions, they're one of the people that Chen might want to know about because they play fan tunes.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
So...
Anyway, just thought I'd make my captain have a quick look at some of the opposing teams while we had a moment.
Well, we still, tournament's still a month out or so.
Yeah.
You know.
No rush.
It was on the list. A lot of things on the list, but it was on the list.
Yeah. If anyone's got any questions, feel free to shoot them through. We're happy to answer anything. Yeah, so what's your, what other things do you have to do when you're actually up there? What do you plan to do while you're captaining? And
the things that I think you have to do, obviously, is you have to do the administration kind of stuff. You have to do lineups. They have to be done before every session, so you actually have to be on the site doing those. You have to, obviously, you have to be able to assess how well your team is actually going, and obviously how well pairs are performing. And so if pairs have a bad set, there's definitely different approaches you can take to how to get the best out of them in the next set. So some people, if they have a bad set, they need to relax, just stop, not play bridge for a while. Some people, they just want to go straight back in there and just go take care of business. So you just need to know who likes to do what, and really follow how people do, and sort of pay attention to people's mannerisms and what happens as they come out of the playing area and all that sort of stuff. And another really important thing to do is to make sure that everybody in the team feels like not so much not letting the team down or anything, but the fact that the team's behind them, and that everyone's got confidence in you, kind of thing. So definitely you need to make sure that there's no negative connotations between pairs or partnerships and stuff like that. There's some people that just want to yell at each other and have fun. So they enjoy yelling at each other, provided they're not being hurting any other partnership on the team. They can do what they want. So it's just once you get up there, there's improving people's play is not, you're just trying to get the best out of people. So you're not gonna improve you're not going to improve their technical skills, so to speak. You're just trying to get the best out of them possibly. And we got a question from this guy, NH.
Oh, hey Nils, do you guys have a trick to stay alert after 2.5 hours of play? This is usually where I fail.
Yeah, so one of my captains, Nia Griffith, he was very good at this. Pretty much he realised that most people do struggle to stay alert for that long, and pretty much we were playing 14 board matches, and our standard tactic, it seemed to work, was that at board 9 or 10, both one person in the partnership or both people in the partnership would go away from the table and grab a piece of fruit or a coffee or just some sugar, just to really boost you up again. And so just you haven't eaten or anything for the past 2 hours or anything, so I wouldn't recommend eating like a large meal or anything, but just putting some sugar into your body. Make sure your partner's got water. Drink lots of water as well. It definitely does all that sort of stuff. So it's just and realizing that your opponents are getting mentally fatigued as well. And I actually looked at it, and you could sort of see that board 9 or 10, when we had our little snack, we didn't show any gain straight away. It was sort of like 15, 20 minutes later, so a couple of boards in, you could see that the opponents, that was normally where we had our pickups. So the opponents misplayed a 4-heart contract and we capitalized, or we didn't misplay a 4-heart contract or something, and that was normally where you could definitely see some imps in the end column coming in. So just really making sure that you're alert and just not fatiguing, and to take your time as well. So after you've been playing for 2 hours or an hour and a half, just take your time.
Yeah, that's different from my approach. Me and my regular partner are usually very quick. So my approach was get out of there before the 2.5 hour marker.
It's a different technique. Yeah.
And it works well for us. We just generally play quick. But other things is we don't mind if our partner gets up and leaves the table, stretches the legs, gets some blood flow, grabs some water. We often drink a lot of water and just use getting up and going to the water fountain as like a way to give yourself a break. Other things are that when I'm dummy, I try and not pay attention.
Yeah, that's a big one. So I definitely agree. When you're dummy, you can't, like, your partner's playing the cards, you can't do anything. Like, all I do is I sit there and I just hear them call for a card. I'm not even following the play. Yeah. I'm just doing whatever I want, just thinking about, what am I going to do later that night? Like, am I going to have this for dinner, or am I going to have this for dinner? Like, that's all I'm doing. So I'm not paying any attention, because nothing you can do as dummy. And definitely, if partner misplays a contract, yelling at them or screaming at them for misplaying a contract's not doing anything. So you noticing that they've misplayed a contract isn't helpful either. Yeah. So you just gotta not worry about it.
If we're lucky enough to be behind screen, sometimes I'll just like rest, lean back, close my eyes. If my partner's having a bit of a tank, and just completely just zone out. And like, some people feel like they have to be completely focused all the time. I think that's the wrong approach. If you're dummy, take those breaks. Make sure you get up, go to the bathroom, grab those drink breaks. Make sure you got that time to unwind.
If you are dummy, like for a few hands in a row, make sure that your partner's got everything that they need as well. Like if they want, like, say, do you want a lolly? Do you want like a piece of fruit or something? There's normally something like a snack floating around in the playing area that you can go grab. And if you've got a good captain, your captain makes sure that you've got something with you as well. So
yeah. So good question, Niels. On a slightly different note, on one of the upcoming tournaments, you're actually a board dealer. So,
Yeah.
what's sort of involved in being a board dealer and doing all that sort of stuff?
So board dealer is a slightly different job. So most people would think that you have a large number of boards and that you deal them all before the tournament starts, which is ideal if you've got a large number of boards. And you just, that way it's all done. You don't have to worry about it. You don't even have to work during the tournament. You just go do whatever you want for the weekend. Unfortunately, that's not the way. I don't have a large number of boards. So I have to re-deal boards every night pretty much. And it's really not mentally taxing work at all. So you just need to make sure that you don't make mistakes or anything. But pretty much, I normally get like a TV show or something, and I put it on in the background. Normally a comedy, nothing too serious, just something you can chuckle at every now and again. And it slows down the pace at which you work, but I just get paid for doing the job. So the pace at which I do it's completely up to me. And it's good actually. So I kind of like it.
How could you make mistakes? Like, what sort of mistakes can be made?
So common things to do is if the caddies they don't stack the boards in the correct order. So let's say like board 16 was on top of 15 and then 15 was below 16, then you keep going on to 17, 18, 19. You actually need to pick that up because otherwise what's going to happen is that everyone who plays that board 15 or 16, they'll be reversed, and some people just don't notice for some reason, especially if the hands were similar. So it might be like a 4-heart contract making and like a 4-spade contract not making or something. And it does make a difference. So, or like a 3-spade, 4-spades push kind of hand or something. And yeah, so there's definitely stuff. They're the things you need to watch out for. And obviously the machine you're using to deal the boards isn't perfect as well. So when it does make errors, it comes up with like an error message. You need to deal with those correctly. But apart from that,
Like, how do you deal with those correctly? Do you have to like pull the cards out and
Yep.
sort it out, or do you have to like clean the machine, or do you like?
So cleaning the machine's one thing you can do if it's making mistakes, but once it's made the mistake, that doesn't matter. What actually happens is the little laser light that reads the card, and common things that like it'll read like the 7 of diamonds is the 7 of hearts, but then later on it'll read the 7 of hearts and it'll be like, oh, that's a mistake. There's 2 duplicate cards, and so one of 2 things has happened. Either the card the first card through that was being read as the 7 of hearts was the 7 of hearts.
Yeah.
Or the card that's there is currently the 7 of hearts, but it doesn't tell you I'm reading this as the 7 of hearts, which maybe it should do that actually. Now that I think about it, it should do that. But it doesn't tell you this is like we've got 2 7 of hearts and we think this is the 7 of hearts or something.
Yeah.
So you need to there's like obviously you just go through the logical combinations of what could have happened and that's it. It's pretty simple. So
you mentioned that there was only like each night you deal boards, so there's only boards for that day, or is there boards for like a day and a half? I know it might
it's
vary.
just a day. So
It's just a day.
Yeah, every night, every night I'll finish and all the boards for the next day are done. And then at some stage, once they've played the first session, I'll come along and start dealing those. And then by the time I've dealt all those, they've normally played the second session, and then I start on those. And yeah, it's fine. It's easy enough work, and it's something. So
Cool. And how did you get into board dealing? And like how do people do board dealing? Or
I just it was my part-time job when I was at school. So I just started dealing for the local bridge club. I'd deal their boards once.
you just started dealing
Yeah.
for the local
For the local
club.
bridge club. Professional dealer. And I just started doing that. Once a week I'd go in and do that, just for the duplicates. And if you make a mistake in a duplicate, it's not that big of a deal because the set hasn't been... They're only using one set, so it hasn't been duplicated or anything. And as long as each player has 13 cards, or it's a 14-13, the director can sort it out pretty easily. So mistakes aren't that big of a deal. Obviously you don't want to make them, but and sort of I just became good at it. Then I started dealing their competition boards, and then I asked if I wanted to deal the national boards, and so I said, I can do that. So simple enough.
One of the things when you're the dealer is you're not allowed to play in the event, though.
Yeah.
Do you think that? Do you actually see the cards?
So after for the VCC, the event coming up, I deal the same hand 40 times through the machine, and for the most part, I don't. I'm not paying attention to what the actual cards are. I'm paying attention to the mistakes that are being made. And so, if I deal a set of 28 boards 40 times, I reckon I could probably tell you about 2 of the hands, I wouldn't be able to tell you the exact location or anything of all the cards. I'd be able to tell you about like roughly what was going on two of the hands. That would be about it. Mainly because you can pay attention to that. You've got other things to worry about, like the board number that's coming through, making sure that's correct. The machine tells you when a mistake happens, so it stops. So you can, when that happens, you stop and make your adjustments. And when there is a mistake as well, it just tells you like the 7 of diamonds is the 7 of hearts or something like that. You obviously look to see where the 7 of diamonds and the 7 of hearts are, but I don't actually look at the board number, like what's going on. So I've just make sure that they're going in sequence. So I'm just knocking off like 16, 17, 18. So you're not actually paying any attention to that sort of stuff. So it would look kind of bad if I dealt the boards when I won. So it came like anywhere close to the top. It's like, it's definitely understandable why you can't play.
So, like, my thing would be for nationals, I guess it makes sense because that sort of safety and the prestige is sort of quite valuable. But if it was at like a club level, you wouldn't really care because...
No, I've dealt club boards and then played the same session, and I wasn't able to tell anyone anything about the boards.
Did you win that session?
No, I didn't.
Okay, good. Glad to hear.
I've won sessions that I have dealt, but typically, it's just a normal session, nothing special.
Cheated to do that, obviously.
Only way I can get there.
Anyway, we might wrap it up there unless there are any final questions for me or Max. Feel free to shoot them through. But thanks for coming in and answering all those questions.
Yeah, too easy. Thanks for having me, Pete. And
All right. No worries. Well, we'll see you later. Bye for now.